Welcome to Blake and Tyler Show. I am Blake.
I am Tyler.
So Tyler, we made our bold predictions, which I believe nobody's watched, of the Super Bowl, and our predictions.
Well, I'm glad they didn't watch it, because we're pretty off.
Well, I was nowhere near on. I like threw the ball and just was like, oh, there's an ocean there, and you still missed.
Yeah, right?
So, watching the game, which I did you watch the game?
Yes, I did watch it. I was kind of miserable, but I did watch it.
I enjoyed it. I've always enjoyed the defensive slugfest, with the occasional deep ball throw, the Hail Mary, if you will, or as you can tell when a team's down and they start going down the field and they're trying to make the deep throws and connect to get into field goal position or score their touchdown. But really watching that, it felt like, especially towards the end, which I know everybody's been talking about it, but I just felt that Carolina in a way seemed like they gave up. Like it didn't seem like they were like really, their offense anyways wasn't pounding as hard as I thought, or it's just the Broncos defense smothered them, and that could have been it too. They could have just been like, just so smothered and suffocated that it was like they were just about ready to die, and then the last fumble was the death throw.
And to me, it was just more like an experience. I mean, I don't think they knew what they were expecting, or didn't know what to expect, I should say. It was a shock, but it was an experience, and Cam Newton's only 26, so he's gonna get better, and I predict they'll get back to the Super Bowl again. I don't know about when, but
yeah. So what was your favorite part of the game?
I mean, I have to say that the best part was the defense. I mean, how much part of it was defense and how much of it was carelessness, I don't know. I mean, there was a lot of fumbles for a Super Bowl game, a lot of turnovers.
Yes.
But, I mean, to see a good defensive game, that is kind of a treat. Because you don't really see that too much these days. This day and age where it's all about quarterbacks.
And not just a one-sided defense like we saw a few years ago with the Seahawks and Broncos. This was a pretty well-rounded defense, because even the Denver Broncos didn't score their first offensive touchdown until super late in the fourth quarter. So the Panthers' defense were doing their job.
Yeah.
They just weren't able to get that turnover for a touchdown like the Broncos were, or set up really good field position like the Broncos continually were. So it was just a good defensively fought game throughout on both sides of the ball. So this wasn't, it wasn't anything like with the Seahawks just leveled the Broncos. It wasn't by far, it wasn't like that, but it was a defensive game on both ends. I mean, Cam's stat lines weren't the worst. What I noticed what I would say is that they were really lacking in my, from watching, and everybody's like, oh, they don't need them. They were missing their star receiver in this game. As the Broncos were able to continually put great pressure on the defensive backs and limit the receivers to being open, I feel that's what the Panthers were missing. They were missing that one key playmaker other than Cam Newton to really take that team to the championship. Ted Ginn just failed.
Oh, yeah, well, I mean, you got to expect that. Now showing what they can do, will this be a nice free agent lure for them in the offseason?
Well, I mean, their star receiver will be back next year. He got hurt in training camp.
Yeah, well, but I mean, are they missing a running back? I mean, you got Jonathan Stewart, who's been around for a long time. And, is that another thing they're missing? I don't know. I mean, they don't really need rushing so much. But, yeah, I don't know. I mean, we'll see what the offseason brings.
I actually voted. The first time I've ever voted for MVP was last night. I put my little word in because, they were like, oh, you get a word. Like, yay! Even though I'm pretty sure they take 1%. We don't really have too much of a real say for the MVP vote. But I went with Von Miller, and my play of the game was when he came and just took the ball right out of Cam Newton when they scored the defensive touchdown.
Oh, is that the play that...
That's the play that cemented him as the MVP for me. I mean, I was going to vote for him regardless if they lost. Von Miller put on a game. But I'd say the one play that stood out to me was when he came and strip-sacked Cam Newton. Let's go to the next thing. Do you think Peyton Manning will actually call it quits?
After that Budweiser comment, I have to say, I don't know, that was very un-Peyton Manning-like, out of nowhere. He just boldly said Budweiser, and then you later find out that that active players aren't even allowed to sponsor beer, or any alcohol beverage. So for him to do that, I wonder if that was just kind of like, hey, I'm done. I can do what I want now. I mean, there's the talk about him going to St. Louis, starting the Los Angeles off with a bang, but I gotta say he probably is done. I mean, they said he needs hip surgery at the end of the year, so I mean that's gonna be a heck of a thing to recover from at his age during the off season and trying to recuperate for another season.
Oh,
I'd say he's done, and he ended on a good note. He's got a championship. He can do it the way John Elway did it. So,
yep. Oh yeah, I mean, I think he's done. I think he's gonna hang up his cleats. You know, he's gonna think about it. And you know, and one good thing was he didn't take away from the Super Bowl. And I know, you know, during the middle of the Super Bowl, Marshawn Lynch tweets his cleats hanging from a telephone wire and says peace.
yeah.
I mean, you know, the Seahawks didn't make it. You didn't have to throw that in the middle of the Super Bowl.
Yeah, right.
But you know, so I mean, and then with the prospect of Megatron retiring, I think Tuck retired this year.
Yep.
And then Charles Woodson, and now possibly Manning. We're going to lose a lot of good, and Julius Peppers may retire. We're going to lose a lot of good players
when you
in
say
one
that,
year.
It's like, wow, when you think about it, it's some
Oh,
good
yeah.
players that we grew up watching. So.
Yep. So it's going to be, it'll be interesting to see. I mean, the football continue to move forward. We'll you know, we got Russell Wilson, we have Cam Newton, we have Andrew Luck, who still, in my opinion, hasn't lived up to his potential. So hopefully great things are to follow with
Well,
that.
this year, I mean, everybody had way high expectations, and what an unbelievably bad start to the season. Then he gets hurt. I mean,
Yeah.
you're hoping he has to have a big bounce back year next year. That was pretty bad. But
Yes, he does. So it was good, but yeah, I'd say the Super Bowl for me, it capped off what I wanted to see. A lot of hard fought football, old school running, and just the better defense won the game.
I know normally you ask the questions here, but I gotta know what's your take on Cam Newton and his press conference. What did you think about that? Him walking out, was that showing that, you know, a person who just wants to win a lot, or is it more like it was immaturity?
You know, I would say it was a little bit of immaturity, but not as much as I've seen some things written about it, because yeah, he lost. Yeah, he could have handled himself better, but man, that was a tough loss. They were 17-1 going into the game. You know, he just got MVP. You know, and he was flying high, and to all of a sudden, just basically the wings cut off of him, and he just comes crashing down. I've always been one. I mean, kind of like the 1 year. What was that? 2 years ago when they interviewed the Seahawks when they won, and Richard Sherman screaming in the mic, and everybody was like, "Oh my gosh!" They're still processing their emotions, and it takes really good coaching, and not from the coaches, but like a PR individual or somebody outside coaching them on how to react no matter the circumstances, for somebody to get out there and really deliver the Peyton Mannings or the Tom Brady speeches. That's not something that comes naturally to a lot of people.
It's very true.
And so he just hit the ground hard. In the NFL, their contracts state they have to rush out there for the media. Had he had another 10, 15 minutes to cool his head, he could have been way different.
Yeah, that is true. It did show some immaturity. You can kind of understand it. I mean, they had a heck of a year, and what everybody expected them to win. I mean, anybody that wasn't a Broncos fan or whatever, and just everything collapsed, like you said. It did show some immaturity. I mean, you like to see a little more class in that situation. I mean, because, I mean, how many NFL greats quarterbacks have lost their very first Super Bowl game? I mean, you got to give credit to your opponent. You got to be classy. And you know, he only said one-word answers, 2, 3 at tops. And it was just like, it almost seemed like a kid that was kind of pouting, a little kid pouting. But I mean, you know, we'll see. I mean, some people get off to a bad start with their maturity, like you said. You know, it takes a while sometimes to respond like Peyton Manning would, or Tom Brady would, or whatever. So I mean, we'll see. I don't know what to really think of that quite yet, but my first reaction was that, you know, yeah, show a little more class, but
yeah. So, well, let's end the show. We're going to end this show with our 2016 regular season Super Bowl picks. That's right, before anything else happens, before draft, before free agency, before injuries, before anything, we're going to make our bold predictions.
So you want me in like 10 seconds to predict who's going to be drafted, who's going to be signed with the free agent, who's going to be the tough... I like it.
All right, let's go.
Me first? You want me to go first?
Yes.
Oh, boy. Oh, man. You know, I like to see the Colts recuperate a little bit. every year before that, they got a little bit closer to the Super Bowl, and then they got, last year they got to the conference championship, and then so it was like, okay, now the next step is Super Bowl, and then it just totally crashed. And I don't know, I'm expecting it. They showed faith in their coach, Chuck Pagano. So we'll see. I mean, because who knows? Maybe that kind of had a little effect to it. He was. I mean, I expected him to be fired. I think everybody kind of expected him to be fired. And then all of a sudden there was a shock of what, a 4-year extension, 3, 4, something. Yeah, 4 years.
Yeah.
And it was like
saw that coming.
So you show a lot of faith to the court or the coach, and now maybe that relieves a lot of stress, a lot of pressure on him. So, I mean, but obviously it's not just the coach. We'll see how Luckry comes back after this year, and I mean, because he did have an injury. But so I'm having some high expectations for the Colts. Like I said, I'll say another prediction. It's not Super Bowl, but I think my Raiders are finally going to make the playoffs after 14 years. I hope so. I mean, I've said it so many times in this 14-year drought, but I hope so. But all right, off that, I just had to say that. But
you gotta get it in.
I'm praying, I guess maybe, but they had a good start to their rebuilding. But anyway, yeah, the Colts. I'm going to say the Colts. AFC. Oh man, I don't know why, but I'm gonna say Green Bay Packers. I think it's a little past. Aaron Rodgers is one of the best, and he hasn't been in the Super Bowl since he won it in 2010. Has he been back there since? I don't think so.
No.
And if memory serves me right. So yeah, I mean, I think it might be due for him. That's just my gut instinct. I'm going by just this last. I had no idea we were gonna do this, so I'm just gonna say. Off the top of my head?
I do. It's off the top of my head. Just boom.
Off the top of my head.
Let's do this.
Let's go Colts and Packers.
All right, nice. You know what? I'm going to go on the same. I'm picking the Packers, but I'm also going to pick a team that everybody was expecting for these two teams to meet in the Super Bowl a few years ago. And it's going to be the New England Patriots and Green Bay Packers.
Very good pick.
I feel like this year coming up, they're going to come back out. Of course, the Patriots are going to be the Patriots. The Packers are going to fix the issues they had the past year. And they're going to go back to the Super Bowl. I think it's going to be the matchup people wanted years ago. It's going to be a few years late, but I think we're still going to get the matchup a lot of people wanted, and that's the New England Patriots and the Green Bay Packers.
So is it possible that you think the Colts and the Patriots will meet in the conference championship, and will the balls be inflated?
No, they will not. They will be as flat as just like concrete. They will boom. It's going to be a weird game to watch because they're throwing pizzas or footballs.
I just made a lot of Patriots fans mad with that comment. I think they turned this off now. They're done with this.
Oh man. Well, thank you for our. In this, you'll only see once a year where we really dive in this much into this topic. Maybe not. We don't know. Of the Super Bowl, though, for sure, as it only happens once a year. But thank you for tuning in.